Welcome to the Pin Down, the pro wrestling show at Sports Illustrated. Kent Brown and Gene Chery here with you. It's December. It's Cena's final month, but we're going to start off with one of our favorites, and that is Bron Breakker. Cut a great promo, Gene, and it was awesome on Monday Night Raw and really set the tone for what we should see going forward.
Kent, I think the question right now that we both have at this moment in time is, what took so long? Bron Breakker has been a star ever since he got onto the main roster. We saw him at WrestleMania. He may have had the best in-ring performance from that entire weekend. This man has been a stud since the beginning. I am glad that they finally put a mic in his hand. There was no reason for him to be a Seth Rollins lackey. I don't even think he needs Paul Heyman at this point. This dude is about to take off, and it is about damn time.
And that's the thing. Paul Heyman, I think, was good to put in place for a little while, but you're starting to see that he's the complete picture. And Heyman's always been an enhancer. And at times we thought maybe Heyman doesn't work for a guy like CM Punk, but Heyman's always good to kind of have in your corner in some regard. So I disagree that I don't think he needs him, but I think a year from now, he probably doesn't need him. But as we head towards WrestleMania season, and basically we're there already in some regards, we're starting to hear rumors that he's going to be lined up in one of these two main event matches at WrestleMania, whether it's CM Punk, whether it's Cody Rhodes, whoever it's for. I think it's good to have Heyman through this initial run because it just helps the Bron Breakker storyline to have him be that guy. When Paul Heyman's in your match at WrestleMania, you're the main event. Let's be real. The last decade. If Paul Heyman walks out to the ring with you, that match means probably more than any other match. So for Bron Breakker to have him at least for one more year, I think it's very smart. But the promo he cut was terrific. And he's doing a great job of not only the in-ring, but he's also one of the young guys that they're actually pushing that looks the part, has the mic skills, comes from that wrestling pedigree, but they don't overdo it by mentioning 100 times that he's part of a quote-unquote bloodline, the way we've seen with so many people the last few years. I just love where it's headed. And maybe, this is bad to say, but the Seth Rollins injuries is probably the main reason he's here. Because I think without those injuries, he would have been a background player in the overall Vision storyline. And now Triple H and the rest of the writing staff has had to figure out, why not give the guy his shot now? And that's exactly what you said, Gene. And sometimes it's kind of the Wally Pipp thing back in the day where all of a sudden a guy goes down, somebody else steps up. Bron Breakker, we might look back in 5-10 years and say, man, if Seth Rollins never got hurt, would he have been the guy so early? And we need it. We need guys like him to be that star.
Well, I gotta push back a little bit. I agree with 99% of what you just said, Kent. But I want to push back a little bit on him needing Paul Heyman at this point. Had it just been Bron Breakker and Paul Heyman, I would completely agree with you. But at this point in time, Paul Heyman's got his hands in a lot of cookie jars right now. He's got Bronson Reed. He's got Logan Paul. There's a lot of guys that are trying to feed off of that Paul Heyman aura. Whereas I think as of right now, we see a guy like Bron Breakker. He can probably step out on his own at this point in time, so Paul can invest his time into building a guy like Logan Paul, to building a guy like Bronson Reed. Bron Breakker, to me, has already stepped out of that shadow and seems to me in that promo that he is ready to just be his own person. We'll see how that unfolds. He is going to take on CM Punk on January 5th at Barclays Center. So I'm wondering how that's going to play into this WrestleMania plans, because if we're already seeing it in January, I wonder if that's still going to be the case come Mania season.
Yeah, exactly. We're just a few months away from, basically that whole season formulating, and the fact that he's getting his title shot at a signature event, like at a Monday Night Raw that's going to stand alone. That's kind of right before you have your NFL playoffs starting and before, your national championship in college football, which is on a Monday night. So they know, put that on right post New Year's, make CM Punk and Bron Breakker mean something. And I don't know if he wins the title that night, but I wouldn't be surprised if they let him get
I hope he wins, man. I hope he wins. That promo sold me, man. Like, I love CM Punk, but he doesn't need the title. A guy like Bron Breakker, let's give him the strap. At least, even if he loses it at Mania, I think he can become believable up until that point. What do you think? Who are you rooting for in that potential matchup?
I would go Bron Breakker as well, because I want to see what young guys do with the title. if you start thinking about the champions the last several years, it's been a lot of the same names. And that's not a bad thing. Roman Reigns has been as good a champion as any that we've seen probably since Stone Cold in his prime or Hulk Hogan in his prime. I think Cody at this point, we both agreed he probably should have given it up, maybe to Drew McIntyre a few months ago, or changed up the way his direction's going. But yeah, if you put the title on Bron Breakker, the sky's the limit. And let's see, it's kind of back in the same day where, you know, Vince McMahon gave Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and Diesel and guys like that titles just based on the fact that he just wanted to see if one of them could run with it. And this is a good example of that. We know what Cody's capable of. We know what Roman Reigns is capable of. Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, those guys. But we don't know what Bron Breakker's capable of until he has that title. So yeah, if he wins it in early January, I'm excited. I'm much more excited then about Royal Rumble, and I'm much more excited about WrestleMania because it's a fresh face wearing that world championship that we have just never seen. So I think we're both on the same page in that regard. Let's now go to our second count and discuss the Last Time Is Now tournament. We are just 10 days away from John Cena's final match in WWE history, and he'll get one of these two. It's either Gunther or it's either LA Knight. Two guys that have been in the title picture for a while. Gunther, of course, was a longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, was a world champion for a long time. And then LA Knight has just been knocking at that door, but hasn't quite opened the door a whole lot the last few years. Who do you want to win between Gunther and LA Knight and get that final shot at John Cena?
I'm glad you asked me who I want to win instead of who I think is going to win, because who I want to win is LA Knight. I think the man needs that moment in time. I think he's done, if not more than anyone, gotten over on his own accord. You know, he hasn't had a machine behind him pushing him to the moon, but he has connected with fans. I don't know if we'll ever see him with a world championship title run, which is why I think a match with Cena would actually be probably his golden nugget in his career. And I think he's earned it. Gunther, we know how big of a star Gunther is. He just gave Solo Sikoa the best match of his career. This man is an animal.
But he loses all his big matches, though. That's the one thing. That's the one thing about Gunther that we've discussed is both of these guys, LA Knight and Gunther, when you think about them the last couple of years, it's more about the big losses that they've had than any big wins, in all honesty.
Do you think Cena's going to lose back-to-back matches on his way out the door? Because I don't think so. I don't see it happening, man. Had he beaten Dom, maybe he would have lost it. He would have made that last match for the title just to up the ante a little bit. But I don't see Cena losing back-to-back matches. It was kind of hard to see him lose this last one. So can you imagine? You paid all that money as fans to go see Cena walk out on an L? I don't see that happening. Now that I'm thinking about it, Kent, I'm now thinking LA Knight might actually win the match because you just made a good point. Gunther can't lose another match. Like, this man has lost all of his big matches on big stages. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. Now you're telling me he might lose to John Cena? How are we supposed to take this guy seriously at this point? So we'll see what happens. But I'm rooting for LA Knight to get the win because I think he deserves that moment in time.
Yeah, I think that if you're going to go with a guy that's losing to Cena, then LA Knight makes more sense. Because the one thing with Gunther, he's been projected as this almost current day Andre the Giant sort of figure. But yet he loses all the big matches. Mania 2 years ago, lost. Mania last year to Jey Uso, lost. He's come back, had matches, Cody, all these matches. He just keeps losing. And as much as he's projected as like the big guy that's the best pure wrestler we have, if he loses to Cena, he's pretty much going down as a loser. And I don't know if it's a good sign.
Beat Pat McAfee. Let's not forget that. The great Pat McAfee. He did get a win.
Yeah, in like 28 minutes. It took him like a half hour, though, to win that match, which, again, at the time I thought was entertaining. But it didn't necessarily help his character that he needed like a 28-minute match against Pat McAfee, where it probably should have just been a hard-fought 7-minute victory where he kind of beat Pat McAfee up for 6 of those 7 minutes. That wasn't what they did. They did not do that in that match. They kind of made it equal sides booking for the most part, which I don't really understand. But that's the thing. That's why your LA Knight might be on to something here, where LA Knight gets a signature victory, goes into that match, can probably cut, frankly, a better promo, leading in if you want him to kind of say something to John Cena prior to the match or do a vignette that's pre-taped. That would be where LA Knight shines. But overall, I do think that if Cena wins, then it's LA Knight who gets the victory over Gunther. And if it's Cena saying, I'm going to leave 1, 2, 3 with my shoulders down, then I think it's Gunther who ultimately gets that big victory and starts to put himself back in some sort of contendership as we head towards Royal Rumble. But also on a side note, I do want to get to, what did you think of the Jey Uso of this all? So Jey loses his match and just goes on, a hissy fit, a rant, a tantrum, kind of looking like a 10-year-old kid that wasn't able to get his dessert after dinner. Like, I don't know what to think of it, because Jey Uso had a great moment at WrestleMania and then not a lot since that's really held up well. And if he's going to be a heel, I think there's a better way to do it than him just kind of, throwing a hissy fit post the last time is now semifinals match.
I agree. I think they've dropped the ball on Jey Uso since he's lost that title, which honestly, maybe they're telling us exactly what they think of the guy. He's kind of been teetering on this. Is he going to turn heel? Is he not? Kind of for the past few months. And we just saw him semi-snap on Monday. So I'm still waiting for him to cross that line, because knocking over a prime bottle is not gonna. I'm not invested. You're like you said, you're throwing a hissy fit. You're not attacking no one. There's no stakes at that. The man, he wanted to win. We know he wants the world championship. He's been losing consistently, ever since. What is going to take him over that edge? I guess that's the question. But right now, it just seems like Jey Uso is just floating and he's yeeting, and we'll see what happens from there. But the man is too much of a star to be just given these roles right now. He needs to invest into a storyline, and I think right now they're just trying to get to the finish line, whatever that is.
And he sells so much merch that part of me is like, they might rethink this. That's why they probably did a soft heel turn, so to speak, to see where the crowd reacts to it, because he could easily just come out next week and say, I'm pissed off, I'm angry, I was upset, but that's not me. I'm still with you guys. Because frankly, if he's like their number one merch seller and he's not in the title picture, I don't know if he wants to go heel. If I was him, I'd be like, no. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. Those checks are going to clear very nicely. And if I go heel, that probably loses the guy a lot of money. And look, maybe he's down for it and he says, that's where I need to be as a character. But I don't know, man. Like sometimes,
career-wise, it's probably better for him to turn heel, just so we're investing more in his character. But you raised a good point. Merch sales, man. There's a reason we don't see guys like Rey Mysterio ever turn heel, man. Like those masks sell like crazy.
There's more children. Any kid under the age of 15, they're wearing Jey Uso gear more than it's probably him and Cody. Those are probably the top.
I think they're wearing more than Cody. His gear is nicer than Cody. I've seen grown men will rock the Yeet shirts, man. Those are dope looking shirts, man. Like his merch is fire. So
yeah, if I needed one of the two, I'm wearing that over an American Nightmare for sure.
Oh, 100%. No doubt. It's not even close, man. I got the shades, man. No, those are fire, man. But he's in a tough spot because business-wise, keep the man as a babyface. But career-wise for him, if he wants to get taken serious, you have to turn him at some point. It's almost stale as far as his character goes, because after the yeeting is all done, what are we investing in, right? Like, and he's just in a tough spot. But hopefully they figure it out. But as far as we've been in arenas where that when he's doing the yeet, man, it is an experience. If you haven't experienced it, it's worth going to a show just to experience that. The energy is crazy.
Oh, absolutely. And then let's run it back. He did that, and now we can transition right into our third topic. He did that during the WarGames match, and just let's do it one more time. And look, you and I talked about the WarGames off the show leading in. Now it's time to discuss it on the show. It's not working at this point. There's so many stars in it, but the fact that you have a 3-hour PLE or 3.5 hours, where 2.5 hours of it are the same match, women's and men's, it's not the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is so unique, and there's 30 different people coming down, 29 ways of eliminating them. That's
at stake at the Royal Rumble. There's stakes. If you're gonna have a match that long, there should be a payoff, not just a winner and a loser. And I think that's problem with where we're at with WarGames, right? You have all these stars, but what are we losing? What are we gaining from that? Roman Reigns is off into the sunset, like it's whatever. It's a match. Brock Lesnar is off into the sunset. We're not going to see him. There were no repercussions from that match.
Drew didn't get the pin. I mean, the guys that we said needed the pin, that wasn't the case. I mean, the bad guys won, which was good, but it wasn't a guy like Drew McIntyre that could really use the 1, 2, 3. And then, as you said, Cody and Roman and CM Punk get angry at each other. Why didn't it happen during the match, though, where there could have been some sort of way to set the tone of, okay, Roman just knocked out Cody and now he's done with him? That would have made more sense, as opposed to him going, I'm never teaming with you again. And that's how it ends.
Yeah, I'm not your friend anymore. Like, what is this? What are you talking? Like, what are we
They
doing?
weren't friends anyways.
Yeah, I don't like you. Yeah, we're not gonna team. Yeah, no one predicted you guys were gonna be tag team champions, man. Like, yeah, this is the last time we're gonna team together. Who cares? Like, and I just thought that line was so. It just wasn't needed. I don't like. Had they gotten into a brawl afterwards, I think that would have been dope. I think that would have been a payoff. Like, holy shit! Like, these guys really don't rock with each other. Is this gonna lead into something? But just, hey, we're not gonna team together anymore. Who cares, man? Like, it's whatever. No one's looking for Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns tag team title.
Not at all. Yeah, that is not something that's on any wrestling fans bingo card of what they want to see. Is, God, I just want Cody and Roman to just align and be friends and teammates. Like, no, that's not who those characters are. That's not Roman Reigns at all. You know, I think Roman Reigns is in a good position now to build himself up for Rumble and Mania. But you're right, he leaves Survivor Series with an underwhelming tone of, what did this all mean? It meant nothing. CM Punk is still champ. Cody Rhodes is still champ. You're not. You didn't gain anything out of any of this. The Usos are kind of with you now, where maybe they weren't a few months ago. But
no, he said he didn't want. He said he didn't want to see them till Christmas. What happened with all that thing, man? Like, now it's just a complete mess. It's just like, hey, let's just put the biggest stars, just make it happen, and that's what it's feeling like. Because now, like you said, Roman Reigns, what is his story right now? Right, I gotta believe he's the favorite to win the Royal Rumble. I don't think it's even a question that this man is going to win the Rumble and or the Elimination Chamber coming up. But you can't have a star like that and just have him clock in and clock out. Well, no, something needs to be at stake. This guy fights for championships. He told you that himself. Why is he in a WarGames match with two guys he just told that the title would look better on his shoulders? What annoyed me a little bit more about that WarGames match was they teased it. Cody elbowed CM Punk inadvertently. And it looked like, okay, we're starting to plant the seeds. Maybe we'll see a couple, CM Punk get back at Cody and say,
dominoes will fall, and yet they didn't.
And then it's just going to be a domino effect throughout the match. And then the heels get the win. Drew gets the pin and everything. And then after the match, it's like, oh, there's stakes. That is, to me, like, oh, we really don't rock with each other. Like, I don't understand. It's like they just tap their toe in it and then expect us to fill in the pieces. And it's like, that's not the case, man. If it's supposed to be WarGames, where's the war? Where's the civil war in this matchup? Because there was nothing, and no one gained anything in that match. And I think it's time to go back to the traditional 5-on-5 elimination style matches. I think those matches, to me, were the most memorable. You get to see where the pecking order kind of is in a match like that. Whereas this one, yeah, CM Punk took the pin, but he took no L from that. Like, no one who needed to gain anything gained.
It's a few days later, and I don't even think anybody really remembers the pin that much. It wasn't significant, really. It was just, okay, the right team won. That's really it. Outside of that, you're right. CM Punk is no worse for the wear because of it. Cody's no worse for the wear. And Roman Reigns is, again, he's where he needs to be, so to speak, but not really. Like, meaning, like, it would have been way better if we saw Roman spear one of the two champs and set that tone, because there are rumors now that we're going to see a Roman Cody Part 3 at WrestleMania. And look, I don't know if that's where I want to see things go unless you start building it up right now and make it important. If you're just going to throw it in that he wins the Rumble, points to the sign, and then chooses him at Monday Night Raw and the next night, that's not good enough for me. To me, that's not where the storyline needs to be for those two. It should have started Saturday night in San Diego. Set that tone right now. Pretty much say definitively, I took you out. I don't like you. I'm going to win the Rumble, and I'm coming for your title.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming.
You better get ready right now, because that's going to be my title in April. And instead, it was just, I don't like you. We're not teammates.
We're not It would have been like, now that that's over and done with, I'm coming for you, and I'm coming for that belt, and I'm walking. And then he walks out. I'm coming for that title. Now that we got that shit out of the way, like, let's get to business, because I'm coming for championship. And to me, that would have been way more significant than we're not going to tag together anymore. Who cares if you're not going to tag together anymore? This is Roman Reigns. He's not a tag. He's never, since the Shield, we don't see this man. He's a lone wolf who walks by the beat of his own drum. And I'm coming for that belt, and there's nothing you can do about it. That, to me, is stakes. That is drama. That's excitement. And right now, we have no idea where this man's head is at. and we don't know where Cody's head is at. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, to me, it was just very, very underwhelming. And that's kind of been the theme of WWE this year, these underwhelming payoffs. You know, I don't even know if we can necessarily call them payoffs because we're still asking questions, you know, with the John Cena tour, with how they've handled the elimination of the Survivor Series matchup. It's just so many unanswered questions that we're having to fill in. Like, oh, maybe this is where they're going. That there's a difference between being curious and confused. And right now, I think we've been more on the confused side for the better part of 2025.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out as we wrap here. The best hour of the night by far was Dom against Cena. Liv Morgan comes back, is now with the Judgment Day, but there's going to be a lot happening on that side too with just the other women. You know, you have Roxanne, you have Raquel, you have people that don't like Liv. How's it going to work? But the fact that Dirty Dom is always dirty is awesome. The fact that he cheated early in the match, acted like his shoulder was hurt, crawls back in. Eventually, you get the Judgment Day kicked out, but then more of them come down. The whole match was perfect. And to me, that hour saved the card in some aspects because the rest of it just did not hit the mark. You know, Vaquera and Nikki did what it needed to do. That was fine. You almost knew she was going to retain the title. But
Nikki can win a match. When is she going to win something? I need her to win something, man. I'm rooting for her, man. She needs to win singles win that one something.
But overall, congrats to Dom to get that win. And now John Cena does have one more match left. And that's what we're going to discuss next week when we come back. It will be the week of John Cena's final match. That will do it here today on The Pin Down, the Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling Show.